Yeah, so Boosie's daughter, Ivy, or Poison Ivy as she goes by, has come out of the closet in this post right here with a young lady she's standing with where she say, endlessly in love with you. And so a lot of people in the comments are happy about this, given the controversy that Boosie has given Lil Nas X and D-Wade and Gabrielle Union for their family situation. And so Boosie never had a problem with gay people. A lot of people misconstrued his words because of his rants, but he was just not liking the way that it was being forced on kids, which I agree with. But the thing is, he knew his daughter was like this as well. Like, he seen it coming. He talked about it in the interview with the Breakfast Club, I believe.
But I won't support marriage. I'm not giving my child away to another woman. So I would love her to death, but I'm not. I don't want to start that. As me, I have the right to do that. As parents, we have the right to do that.
And as you can see, he has no problem with his daughter. He knew his daughter liked women, but he was like, I'm not going to give my child away in marriage as far as co-signing it like that. But I'm going to love my child. I'm going to love my child to death. And that's what I think is required as parents that is going through that. Whether you agree with the lifestyle or you don't, you should just be required to give your child love. You know what I'm saying? To love your child through whatever they're going through. But you shouldn't have to be forced to encourage this type of behavior if that's not what you stand for. Like, a child will eat Skittles all day if you let them. But as a parent, I don't think you should be required to encourage that type of behavior. And as an 11-year-old, 10-year-old child, and some of the situations that Boosie has been known to talk about, I don't think it should be a situation where you should encourage children in any type of day and age to go through reassignment by hormone replacements and surgeries, and especially since studies show that children 12 and under that experience some type of gender dysphoria or confusion about their sexuality usually desist this type of behavior when they hit adolescence and above. So anywhere from 15 and above, they start to grow out of this mentality that they're confused about their gender or their sexuality. So knowing that information, I just don't think surgically or hormonally changing your gender, I just don't think that's something that should be left up to a child to decide. Nor should it be encouraged by society and parents to push that agenda. But I think people were using a moment that they had encountered with their family to encourage this type of behavior and boost their own careers while they're doing it. And to be fair, I don't agree with Boosie on everything. I didn't agree when he said he paid a grown woman to give his sons a head at like 11, 12 years old. Is this something that's common in the male world of camaraderie? It is. Should it be? No, because it opens their young minds and their young mental states up into a whole nother realm that it should not be in. And I promise you, it's going to change them for the rest of their life. You know what I'm saying? And I put it in context in the video. I can't remember which one I did, but I said, what if it had been his daughter? What if somebody had a grown man give oral sex to his daughter or something? You think he would be okay with that then? No. You dig what I'm saying? And then you could argue this is worse than the gender hormone and all of that stuff, because it's like you actually putting sex acts on your young sons. And I don't agree with that. You know what I'm saying? And it's definitely going to have a lasting effect on them. But that's how it goes. Some things you agree with people on, some things you don't. You know, that's how I feel with Boosie. Some things I agree with, some things I don't. But I don't wish no harm or no malice to him or his family. And I was interested to see what the comment section had to say, because I think there's a lot of people who are going to feel like they wish him malice, or they're happy that this happened to him. You know what I'm saying? But they're not realizing he's not that bothered by it because he already knew his daughter. And if you were to listen to his rants, I feel like you would have known that he doesn't have any ill intent or malice towards gay people.
They say Boosie thinks it's way different when it's girls.
Well, yeah, I can't really disagree with that. I mean, look at the affinity that women have for like gay men or trans women, or, you know, that whole relationship with the hairstylist and the clothes stylist and the fashion. And it's the same thing. Of course, men view lesbian women a little different because we like to see women together, but is different when it comes to your children, because you're not looking at it in that way. But for any man, I think it's going to be a little bit harder to take as far as if your son is going through this rather than your daughter. I mean, I don't know. I'm just taking a guess at it, but that's a good question to pose. Like, who, as far as parents, what would be more difficult, watching your son or your daughter go through this from a mother's perspective and from a father's perspective.
Now about those tables, so they turning, I guess his energy gonna be way different towards her.
I don't think he's gonna love his daughter no less from going forward because I mean he's seen it for a little while now. I'm sure he knows. Like I mean we've all seen she's had kind of manly or studdish mannerisms for a little while now. So I'm pretty sure he's known and he's loved her just the same. So I mean I don't see that love changing.
They're trying to get you revved up. Don't fall for it. It's in her face. He been new just like we did. This person says he never said being gay is a problem. He said he doesn't agree with children changing their gender, sexuality, or whatever it's called at a young age. That's how I know y'all didn't listen to his rants, because he said multiple times he doesn't have a problem with gay people or transgenders, and how his daughter is a lesbian. He doesn't like it being forced on kids.
And that's just reiterating what we was talking about earlier. Like he never had a problem with gay people. You know what I'm saying? He just had a problem with how society is kind of trying to force it on the kids.
Now his daughter gay and he did all that to Lil Nas and Zara. So this person right here who may be a Boosie fan says y'all try so hard to not understand him. His daughter been liking girls. His manager is gay. He doesn't have a problem with the community. He just doesn't want to force on kids. I hate that her father is her father. I know she has been to hell and back, but maybe he's one of those people who doesn't care if it's his daughter is a lesbian, as long as his sons aren't punks, then he's ecstatic.
Question we answered a little while ago too, but I'm just saying I know it may be hard. You may go back and forth over which is harder to accept. Like I said, we posed that question, but even if it is your son, I still don't think it. Like, come on, man, you love your son, like you love your kids. Yes, you gonna have some hard times wrapping your head around it, but at the end of the day, I think for most parents who really care about their kids, it's just gonna be that. You don't agree with him. I mean, look how many mothers and fathers don't agree that their kids get into gang life or gang culture, or, I run in the streets trying to sell some dope, trying to shoot dice and slap people every 2 minutes. Yeah, you don't agree with that. It's a constant fight of you trying to get your child on the right path and do right for their life, to save their life. And that's way more dire right there, because they get in the shootouts and run in the streets every day and the stuff that could end their life instantaneously. So you fighting to save their life, but you still love your kids. You know what I'm saying? Girl or boy, whatever they into out in these streets, you still have a great love for them and want them to come home just so you could just love them. You know what I'm saying? You just don't want to see them hurt or done bad. But of course, you don't agree with none of the lifestyle that they're living as far as the gang culture and all of that, and running the streets and shooting and this, that, and other. You can't agree with that. You can't wrap your head around it or accept it. Now, I'm not saying that you have to treat the two situations as the same, but I'm giving an example of how a parent can fully not want to encourage a certain type of behavior in their child, like gang culture or something like that, but they can also fully and utterly love them unconditionally. I mean, it's just like the Jeffrey Dahmer Netflix series that came out a little while ago. His parents, once they found out what he was into, murdering and killing people like he was, I'm sure they weren't in agreement with the path that his life took. But I'm sure they felt the same hurt and pain when they sentenced their son, to life in prison. And then when he died in prison, I'm sure they felt the same type of pain. Like, oh my God, my son died, because while you may not agree with the path that your children's life have taken, you still love them. But on the flip side, like, I was surprised more people didn't go off on Boosie. Well, we did only read a couple of comments, but, that energy gonna come back at you when you put a certain energy out there. That's why you got to be careful the way you talking, when you talking. Even though I listened to Boosie's rants and I heard what he was saying, but you got to be careful the way you talk to people, because people ain't gonna have that a forgiving heart. Like when you Jeffrey Dahmer and you out here killing and eating people, you can't expect people to show up in the courtroom, families, and give you grace. Like, you got to realize you killed them people and stirred up that hate in their heart. So when they get there and see you at trial, they're going to have the same hatred for you, and they gonna wish death upon you. They gonna lead the forgiveness up to your family and your mom and them. You know what I'm saying? And God and them. You know what I'm saying? But hopefully they can find it in their heart. But you can't expect people to when that's what you put out there. And so I was kind of expecting more people to kind of go off on Boosie in the comments, because I know that they probably took certain clips of the rants and mistook him or misunderstood what he was saying in them. But sometimes, you just got to know, even when you're going off on a rant, you might be saying the right things. You know what I'm saying? I try to do the same thing on this channel. You might be saying the right things, but sometimes it can get misconstrued or taken the wrong way, or you can say it harshly, or you can say the wrong thing altogether. You know what I'm saying? And you got to be careful, because, that same energy can come back at you. When it's your turn, it don't always feel that great. You know what I'm saying? One thing I can say is Boosie is trying to be there for his kids. Do we do it the best way? No. Because you can see he putting a lot of his ways onto his kids that I don't think is going to do them no favors as they grow up. But he is a father, and he's trying to be there for his kids the best way he know how. Now, hopefully he will learn better ways to be there for his kids and teach them better ways that they will mature as well. And just try to be the best parent he can be. But, being that he got so many kids, I know it's hard for him to be there for his kids. But I just pray that we all can see the wrongs that we're making when we're trying to raise our kids or our nephews and nieces and things like that. You know what I'm saying? And try to correct ourselves as we go forward. You know what I'm saying? But this your boy P Camp. Tell me what you think, what you don't think. Get at your boy.